Most people wake up rushing, hitting snooze, grabbing their phone, and starting the day already stressed. But here's the truth. Your morning routine decides how successful, focused, and productive your entire day will be. If you've ever wondered why some people achieve more before noon than others do all day, this video is going to reveal the secret morning routine that fuels lasting success. Welcome back. In today's video, we're diving into a powerful morning routine practiced by high performers, entrepreneurs, and visionaries. It is not about waking up at 4 a.m. or drinking 10 cups of coffee. It's about a sequence of small, intentional actions that prepare your mind and body to win the day. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear roadmap you can follow tomorrow morning to completely shift your energy, focus, and productivity. When you first open your eyes in the morning, what's the very first thing you do? For most people, it's reaching for the phone. Notifications, messages, emails, social media, it all comes flooding in before you've even taken your first conscious breath of the day. And right there, you've handed over your mind to the world before you've even owned a single thought for yourself. That's the reality of modern mornings. Chaotic, rushed, and reactive. But what if you decided to flip that script? What if instead of waking up into a storm of distractions, you gave yourself the gift of a mindful awakening, a moment of stillness that sets the tone for everything that follows? The first minutes after waking are the most powerful of the entire day. Your brain is in a delicate state, moving from the dreamy theta waves of sleep into the alertness of beta waves. This transition is when your subconscious is most impressionable. What you allow into your mind during this fragile window doesn't just affect your morning, it shapes your focus, your energy, and even your decisions for the rest of the day. Imagine the difference between starting your day scrolling through negative headlines versus starting it with a calm, intentional practice that tells your mind, I am in charge today. That difference is everything. A mindful awakening doesn't mean you need an elaborate ritual. It begins with something simple, resisting the urge to pick up the phone. Instead, take a deep breath. Let your body wake up slowly. Pay attention to the feeling of your sheets, the sound of your breathing, the light filtering through the room. For the first 2 or 3 minutes, just notice. This tiny practice of presence is like a reset button for your nervous system. It prevents your mind from spiraling into stress before you've even stood up. Instead of letting the world invade your thoughts, you're choosing to ground yourself in the moment. And that choice is powerful. Think about the mornings when you've woken up late, panicked, rushing to get dressed, skipping breakfast, checking emails on the go. How does the rest of the day feel? Scattered, reactive, always playing catch-up. Now contrast that with the mornings when you've taken your time, maybe stretched, maybe sat quietly with a cup of water or tea, allowed your mind to settle before the chaos begins. Those days flow differently. You make sharper decisions. You feel more centered. You're less likely to snap at someone or feel overwhelmed by small setbacks. The truth is, your morning state becomes your daily state. If you start in chaos, you'll carry that chaos with you. If you start with calm, you'll carry calm into every room you walk into. One of the secrets of highly successful people is that they guard their mornings like treasure. They don't allow just anything to enter their mind. They don't start by reacting, they start by creating. And mindful awakening is the very first step. For some, this looks like lying still for a few minutes, breathing deeply. and setting an intention for the day. For others, it's as simple as smiling the moment they wake up, signaling gratitude to their brain. Gratitude, even in the smallest dose, has been proven to shift the chemistry of your brain, lowering stress and increasing feelings of control. Imagine starting every morning with that advantage. Now here's where most people go wrong. They think they need to completely overhaul their routine overnight. They believe mindful awakening means they must meditate for an hour, light candles, or chant mantras. Not at all. This isn't about adding stress to your morning by complicating it. It's about simplifying. It's about creating just a sliver of space before the demands of the world rush in. Even 60 seconds of stillness can shift your day more than you realize. The point isn't the length. The point is the awareness. It's about showing yourself that your mind belongs to you, not to the endless stream of notifications waiting on your phone. Here's something interesting. Your body has its own internal rhythm, and if you pay attention, you'll notice that the way you wake up affects how your energy flows. A rushed awakening leaves you foggy, groggy, needing caffeine just to think straight. But a mindful awakening eases your body into alertness. It gives your brain the oxygen and space it craves after hours of rest. You'll notice that on mornings when you start with presence, your thoughts are clearer, ideas come easier. You feel lighter instead of weighed down. That clarity is the soil in which success grows. Think of your morning as the doorway into your day. Every door has two options: walk through in a hurry, slamming it behind you, or pause for a moment. Take a breath and step through with intention. When you choose the second, you're not just improving your morning, you're rewiring your relationship with yourself. You're telling your subconscious, my peace matters, my clarity matters, my success matters. And once you begin making that choice consistently, the results ripple through everything you do. You speak differently, you listen differently, you even carry yourself differently. People notice, opportunities notice, success notices. The moment you wake up, your body is in a state of quiet thirst. Hours of sleep may have rested your mind, but they've also left you dehydrated. And this is where most people unknowingly sabotage their mornings. They reach straight for coffee. That warm, bitter cup might give a quick jolt, but underneath, your cells are still starved for what they truly need: pure hydration. Before you fill your body with stimulants, you need to fuel it with the one element that drives every function of your system: water. Think about it. Your brain is nearly 3/4 water. Your muscles rely on it. Your energy depends on it. If you want mental clarity, focus, and the physical stamina to tackle a demanding day, you have to start by refueling the body the way it was designed. Picture this. You've just woken up, and instead of rushing to check notifications or pouring coffee, you slowly drink a tall glass of water. As it moves through you, your body reawakens at the cellular level. Your brain fog begins to lift, your metabolism switches on, your skin feels more alive. That simple act tells your body, it's time to perform, it's time to focus, it's time to win. It sounds small, but this tiny discipline is a cornerstone of successful mornings because it lays the foundation for everything that follows. But hydration alone isn't enough. The next step is activating your body. Not an exhausting workout, not a punishing routine, but a gentle awakening of your muscles and joints. Think of it as switching on the power grid of your body. Overnight, your muscles tighten, your circulation slows, and your body stiffens. From hours of stillness, If you roll straight from bed into a chair, you're carrying that stiffness into the day. But when you take just a few minutes to stretch, to breathe deeply, to move your body, you ignite your system. Oxygen flows, blood circulates, energy rises. Suddenly, instead of dragging yourself through the morning, you're energized and ready to handle whatever comes. This is why so many high achievers make movement a non-negotiable part of their mornings. It doesn't have to be intense. Even 5 minutes of stretching, yoga, or light bodyweight exercises can transform your state. Imagine standing tall, rolling your shoulders back, taking deep breaths that fill your lungs completely. You're not just moving your body, you're sending a powerful message to your mind. I am awake, I am strong, I am ready. That alignment between mind and body is what fuels productivity. Now let's talk about why this matters so much for success. Success isn't just about ideas, strategies, or working hard. It's about energy. Without energy, even the best ideas stay trapped in your head. Without energy, you can't stay focused long enough to execute on your plans. Without energy, you burn out before you even get started. Hydration and activation are the fuel sources for that energy. They're what allow you to operate at your highest level, not just in the morning, but throughout the day. Think of your body like a vehicle. You wouldn't expect a car to run efficiently without fuel and ignition. Yet that's exactly what people do to themselves every morning. They skip hydration, they skip movement, and then they wonder why they feel foggy, sluggish, and unmotivated. But when you make hydration and energy activation part of your routine, you're essentially fueling and firing up your engine before you take off. And when your engine runs smoothly, everything else becomes easier. This practice also builds something deeper than just energy. It builds discipline. When you choose water before coffee, when you choose movement before comfort, you're training your brain to prioritize long-term gains over short-term impulses. That mindset compounds. It's the same mindset you need to stay consistent with goals, to delay gratification, to push through challenges. You're not just building a routine, you're building resilience. And resilience is what separates those who give up from those who go on to succeed. And here's the beauty of it. You don't need hours. You don't need fancy equipment. You don't need to overhaul your entire morning. All it takes is a glass of water and a few minutes of mindful movement. Over time, this small shift multiplies. Your mornings feel lighter. Your energy lasts longer. Your focus sharpens. And you'll notice that the more consistently you do it, the more natural it feels. It stops being a routine and starts being part of who you are. So tomorrow, when you wake up, pause for a moment before reaching for the usual. Pour yourself that glass of water. Feel it revive you from the inside out. Then stand, stretch, breathe, move. It doesn't matter how simple it is. What matters is that you begin. Because once you do, you'll start to feel a surge of clarity, strength, and momentum that you carry with you into the rest of your day. And that momentum, day after day, is what builds into unstoppable success. The mind is like a lens. If it's foggy, everything you see through it becomes unclear. But if it's polished and focused, suddenly the world looks sharp, opportunities are visible, and decisions feel easier. And that's exactly why creating a practice of mental clarity in the morning is so powerful. The truth is, most of us start our days carrying the noise of yesterday into today. We wake up with unfinished thoughts, lingering worries, and scattered intentions. Without realizing it, we allow that mental clutter to run the show. And when your mind is cluttered, your energy gets drained before you've even done anything meaningful. This is why the most successful people don't just focus on their to-do list in the morning. They focus on their state of mind. When you create even a few minutes of mental clarity, you give yourself an advantage that most people overlook. Think about it like this. You wouldn't sit down to work at a desk piled with old papers, spilled coffee, and random clutter because you know it would distract you. Yet every day, people try to live and perform with a cluttered mind. A clarity practice is like tidying up your inner desk. You're creating space so that the important things can actually come forward. And when you do this first thing in the morning, you set the tone for the entire day. Now, there are many ways to practice mental clarity. Some choose meditation, others journal, some prefer deep breathing exercises. The method doesn't matter as much as the intention. What matters is that you create silence inside, that you guide your focus instead of letting it wander aimlessly. Take meditation, for example. It doesn't mean you need to sit cross-legged on a mountain for an hour. It can be as simple as closing your eyes, breathing slowly, and observing your thoughts for 3 minutes. In those 3 minutes, you step outside the chaos. You become the observer of your mind instead of the prisoner of it. And in that space, you find calm. Journaling is another powerful tool. When you write down what's in your head, it stops spinning inside you. Suddenly, worries that felt overwhelming look smaller on paper. Thoughts that felt tangled become easier to understand. And ideas that were hiding in the background finally have space to appear. Journaling doesn't just clear your mind, it sharpens it. It allows you to begin the day with awareness instead of confusion. And once you see your thoughts clearly, you can decide which ones deserve your attention and which ones don't. Breathing practices work in a similar way. When you take slow, deep breaths, you send signals to your body that you are safe, that there is no need to panic, that you can focus. Your nervous system shifts out of stress mode and into clarity mode. And the beauty of breathing is that you can do it anywhere. Sitting in bed, standing in the shower, even while you prepare breakfast. Each deep breath is like hitting the reset button on your mind. Now, why does this matter for success? Because success requires focus. It requires decision-making. It requires the ability to stay calm under pressure. If your mind is scattered, if you're reacting instead of responding, you can't perform at your highest level. But when you build a practice of clarity, you walk into the day with a calm confidence. You're no longer at the mercy of distractions. You're no longer easily swayed by every little problem. You know what matters, and you have the mental space to stay with it. Imagine starting a day with no clarity. You check your phone, your mind fills with messages, news, updates, problems. You rush to tasks without thinking, juggling a dozen things at once. By noon, you're exhausted and you've barely touched what's truly important. Now imagine starting a day with clarity. You breathe deeply, maybe write down your top 3 thoughts, maybe sit quietly for a few minutes. You feel calm, centered, intentional. When distractions come, you notice them, but they don't control you. You keep moving in the direction you set in the morning. That's the power of mental clarity. It turns chaos into direction. Over time, this practice rewires how you think. You begin to notice when your thoughts are spiraling, and you know how to bring them back. You catch yourself when you're about to waste energy on something that doesn't matter. You become more present in conversations, more decisive in choices, more creative in problem solving. It's not magic. It's simply the result of giving your mind the space it needs to function at its best. And here's the thing. This practice isn't just for productivity. It also affects how you experience life. With clarity, you notice small moments you would have missed: the taste of your breakfast, the sound of birds outside, the smile of someone you love. These details fuel your sense of joy and fulfillment. Because at the end of the day, success isn't just about doing more, it's about living better. And when your mornings begin with mental clarity, you don't just perform better, you also feel better. Every day you wake up, you're handed a blank page. That page will be filled by the choices you make, the actions you take, and the energy you carry into it. The question is, are you writing that page with intention, or are you letting it be scribbled on by distractions and randomness? This is where the power of goal setting and visualization comes into play. It's not about long, complicated planning sessions or rigid schedules. It's about giving your mind a clear direction. So when you step into the world, you already know what you're moving toward. Without direction, even the most motivated person ends up scattered. With direction, even small steps create powerful momentum. When you start your morning by setting goals, you're essentially programming your brain. You're saying, "This is what matters most today. This is where my energy should go." And your brain listens. Neuroscience shows that when you write down or speak out your intentions, your brain actually begins filtering the world differently. It starts noticing opportunities that align with those goals. It prioritizes tasks that move you closer, and it makes you less likely to waste energy on things that don't matter. It's like putting on a pair of glasses that sharpens your vision. Suddenly, the blur of endless possibilities turns into a focused picture of what's truly important. Now, goals don't need to be massive to matter. In fact, the most effective way to use them in the morning is to keep them simple and specific. Ask yourself, what 3 things, if I accomplish them today, would make me feel successful by tonight? Write them down. Say them out loud. Visualize yourself completing them. This process does more than organize your tasks. It creates a sense of certainty inside you. Instead of starting the day wondering what to do next, you begin with clarity. That clarity builds confidence, and confidence builds momentum. Visualization takes this to an even deeper level. When you imagine yourself succeeding, your brain doesn't fully distinguish between the imagined experience and the real one. The same neural pathways light up. This means that when you visualize completing a goal, having a powerful conversation, or achieving a milestone, your brain starts preparing you for it as if it's already happening. You're essentially rehearsing success in your mind, which makes it easier to step into success in reality. Athletes use this technique all the time. Before stepping onto the field, they see themselves scoring, winning, performing flawlessly. That mental rehearsal sharpens their focus and boosts their confidence. Why should everyday success be any different? Let's say you have a big presentation at work. Instead of starting the morning in anxiety, take 5 minutes to visualize yourself walking into the room with calm energy, speaking with clarity, and connecting with your audience. See it in your mind as vividly as you can, the tone of your voice, the look on people's faces, the confidence in your body language. When you do this, you not just calming your nerves, you reprogramming your mind and body to perform in alignment with that vision. By the time you actually step into the room, it feels familiar, almost like you've already done it. That familiarity is what erases doubt and allows your best self to show up. This practice of visualization isn't only for big events. It works for the small, everyday goals too. Imagine yourself finishing your workout with energy, completing that project on time, or having a productive and positive day at work. The more vividly you can see it, the more your mind and body align to make it happen. You're giving your brain a roadmap, and once it has that roadmap, it starts pulling you toward it naturally. Another powerful piece of this morning ritual is emotional connection. When you set a goal or visualize an outcome, don't just think about it, feel it. Feel the pride of accomplishing it, the relief of finishing it, the joy of succeeding. That emotional connection acts like fuel. Your brain is wired to move toward pleasure and meaning, so when you attach positive emotions to your goals, you make them far more compelling. You're no longer chasing something out of obligation. You're being pulled toward it by excitement. Now, think about the difference between someone who wakes up and drifts into their day versus someone who wakes up and sets their goals and visualizes success. The first person reacts to whatever shows up, the emails, the messages, the demands. Their energy is scattered. Their mind is pulled in 100 directions. By the end of the day, they feel exhausted but unfulfilled, busy but not productive. The second person, the one with goals and visualization, starts with intention. They already know where their energy is going. They already see themselves succeeding, and when distractions appear, they have an anchor that keeps them focused. At the end of the day, they may not have done everything, but they've done what truly mattered. That's the difference between drifting and directing, between randomness and success. Over time, this daily practice compounds. You begin to trust yourself more because you see yourself consistently doing what you set out to do. You begin to notice patterns of success forming because your focus is sharper and your energy is aligned. And most importantly, you begin to live with a sense of purpose. You're no longer just getting through the day, you're creating the day. And when you consistently create your days with intention, your weeks change, your months change, your life changes. Imagine waking up every morning and not just fueling your body, not just clearing your mind, but also feeding your growth. Because the truth is, success isn't just about what you do today, it is about who you are becoming every day. And one of the most overlooked parts of a powerful morning routine is dedicating time to build your skills and expand your knowledge. Think about it. Every day you're either growing or you're staying the same. And if you're staying the same while the world keeps moving forward, you're actually falling behind. That's why the most successful people make learning and self-development part of their mornings. It's not an afterthought, it's a ritual. When your mind is fresh in the morning, your ability to absorb and process information is at its peak. This is when your brain is most open to new ideas, new insights, and new skills. Yet most people waste this golden window by scrolling endlessly, filling their heads with noise instead of wisdom. Imagine the shift if you replaced even 10 minutes of random scrolling with 10 minutes of learning something that elevates you. That 10 minutes a day doesn't just add up, it compounds. Over weeks, months, years, it creates expertise, mastery, and confidence that separate you from the crowd. This doesn't mean you need to sign up for courses every morning or read entire books in one sitting. It can be as simple as reading a few pages from a book that inspires you, listening to an audiobook or podcast that teaches you something valuable, or practicing a skill you want to sharpen. Maybe it's writing a paragraph if you're working on becoming a better communicator. Maybe it's learning a new language, even if just one phrase a day. Maybe it's studying a piece of your industry that gives you an edge in your career. Whatever it is, the act of dedicating your first energy to growth transforms your mornings into an investment, not just a routine. The key is consistency. Imagine spending 15 minutes every morning for a year learning something specific. That's over 90 hours of focused development. 90 hours of reading, practicing, or studying makes you more knowledgeable than most people in that area. And that's just from a small, consistent effort. Success isn't about cramming. It's about compounding. It's about planting seeds of growth every day and trusting that, over time, those seeds grow into trees of wisdom and skill that nobody can take from you. What makes this even more powerful is that it builds confidence. When you learn something new each morning, you don't just gain knowledge, you feel more capable. You start your day with a win, with a sense that you've already advanced yourself before the world even demanded anything from you. That energy changes how you carry yourself. You walk into conversations more prepared. You make decisions with more insight. You see connections that others miss because you've been feeding your brain while others have been feeding their distractions. Think about some of the most influential people in history: leaders, inventors, creators, entrepreneurs. They weren't just doers, they were learners. They had a hunger for knowledge, and they made it part of their daily lives. They understood that growth doesn't happen by accident, it happens by intention. And your mornings are the perfect time for that intention, because they belong to you before the world asks for anything. This practice also shifts your identity. When you dedicate time every day to building your skills, you begin to see yourself differently. You're no longer just someone going through the motions. You become someone who grows, someone who invests in themselves, someone who takes their future seriously. That identity becomes a source of motivation. When challenges show up, you don't feel stuck because you know you're equipping yourself day by day to handle them. That's a kind of quiet power most people never develop. And it doesn't have to feel like work. The beauty of learning is that it can be exciting, it can be inspiring, it can even feel like play. If you choose subjects or skills that spark curiosity, your mornings become something you look forward to. Instead of dragging yourself out of bed, you get up with a sense of anticipation, because you know that each morning is a chance to become a little sharper, a little wiser, a little more capable than you were yesterday. So ask yourself, if you devoted even a small slice of your mornings to learning, where would you be 6 months from now? How much more confident, skilled, or prepared would you feel? How many doors would open because you took the time to equip yourself? Most people underestimate how much change a few minutes a day can create. But those minutes are where greatness is built, not in giant leaps, but in small, steady steps of growth repeated day after day until they transform you into someone unstoppable. So, think about the journey we've just taken together. We began by realizing that the way you wake up shapes everything that follows. We uncovered the power of starting with mindful awakening, of choosing calm and awareness instead of chaos. We fueled the body with hydration and movement, recognizing that energy is the foundation of success. We then cleared the mind with practices that bring focus and peace, because a scattered mind can never create a successful day. We set direction through goals and visualization, painting the picture of who we want to be and what we want to achieve. And finally, we invested in ourselves, using our mornings to grow, to learn, to expand into the person capable of handling greater challenges and greater opportunities. This isn't just a routine, it's a system, a formula for starting every single day as the best version of yourself. Because the truth is, success is not built in dramatic moments, it's built in the small choices we repeat consistently. The secret morning routine isn't about perfection or pressure, it's about ownership. Ownership of your energy, your focus, your time, and ultimately, your life. Every morning you wake up, you have two choices: drift through the day on autopilot, or step into it with intention, clarity, and purpose. One path leads to repetition, the other leads to transformation. The question is, which one will you choose tomorrow morning?